Okay, shall we begin? Hello, everyone. Welcome to INF A245AE Machine Learning. So the website was not updated until yesterday. Some of you emailed me asking for the date and location. So I hope everybody got my email yesterday and well, you made it to the right class. But it's kind of unfortunate for the whole semester, there's going to be a class right before this. So we will always come in after 9:20. So maybe we will always start 5 to 10 minutes late. Like if I need to set up things, like I do have a complex setup to project things because I'm going to use my iPad. So let's get started. So we'll start with basic introduction to the course and a bit of logistics. I'm going to go through this as quick as possible because you will see all these logistics information on the website as well. But this is really to tell you quickly the overview of how this course is going to be for the semester, and then we'll get started with the actual lecture. Yeah. So just before I begin, just out of curiosity, how many of you are not from Poly? Are there people outside Poly? Okay, so quite a few. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. Um, well, I'm your instructor, Sarath. I am a professor here at Polytechnic Montreal and also a core faculty member at MILA, which is the Quebec A Institute, if you have not heard about it. And so we're going to have 5 TAs for this course. Okay, so they are not here today, but you are going to see them during the lab sessions, starting from the one that is tomorrow. Okay, so we have Artem, David, Hadi, Lola, and Prashant, and they will be responsible for your assignments, Kaggle competitions, um, and doing the lab sessions, tutorials, etc. So they will also have their own office hours, like where you can go ask them questions about the assignments. Okay. Okay. So all the information about the course is going to be in the public website, not in Moodle. Okay, so Moodle is really like a starting point for you to click the link and go to whatever places we want to access. Okay, so I don't keep anything in Moodle. So the public website link, I think you might already know. If you have Google, if not, like this is the link. And like the schedule right now just talks about first lecture, but this week I would put the entire schedule, like a tentative schedule for the whole week, for the whole semester, including the assignment deadlines and everything. Okay. So what is this course about, right? Like so this is an introductory course in machine learning. Okay, so I think this is probably the 8th time I'm teaching this course and 6th time at Poly. And after a long time, I'm teaching just machine learning in fall. I used to teach both ML and RL. So I have plans to revamp the course this year. So it's not going to be exactly same as what your juniors might have taken in the last year or so. So I have plans to change the course a bit. So the course heavily focuses on supervised learning. Okay, so even though unsupervised learning and reinforcement learning are important, like so this is really foundations of supervised learning, and we will not touch reinforcement learning in this course. Like so, there is another course like INF 8250AE, which I used to teach, but now Amir Masood, a new professor in the department, is teaching the course. Like so, that just started this Monday. So if you want to do oral, we should take INF 8250AE. Okay. So is this a right course for you? So every year we do get students from almost all the departments at Poly, like trying to like wanting to take machine learning. Okay. So this is meant to be a first course in ML for the following category of students. Like so undergraduates who wants to pursue AI and ML in their grad school. For graduate students who wants to do both fundamental research but also applied research. Like so we do get students from other departments who are doing research in their own fields, but they want to apply AI and machine learning in their field, right? And for engineers who want to build machine learning systems. Okay. So if you belong to one of these categories, I think this is a right course for you. And I want to highlight this. This is meant to be a first course in machine learning. So if you have already taken ML courses, I request you not to answer my questions during the class and spoil the next steps for students who are seeing this for the first time. Okay, so this is really meant for laying the foundations for people to go and do more ML courses later. So if you've done an ML course before, like it's okay, you can redo this, like because this is meant to be a much more rigorous introduction to machine learning. So you will still learn something new, but be mindful that there are many first-time students in class. And in terms of the prerequisites, I expect that you have a strong background in probability, calculus, and linear algebra. This course is mathematical. Okay, so over the years, the kind of students I find who are struggling in the course are people who don't have the right math background. So I have given equivalent courses at Poly, like so these are really undergrad courses, like for math, probability, and linear algebra. I think calculus you do it in high school and also in the first year of undergrad, I guess. So if you have not done any of these courses, it's going to be a bit of struggle to follow the course. So we have a tutorial on probability and linear algebra tomorrow. So tomorrow's lab session is going to be a review of probability and linear algebra by one of the TAs. Even if you have done probability and linear algebra, I highly encourage that you attend this tutorial, okay? And by the way, lab sessions are mandatory. I want all of you to be there tomorrow. Like, so even if you are really good in probability and linear algebra, still go there, like get it reviewed, because we are going to use these concepts heavily in every lecture, okay? And in terms of programming, I assume that you know how to program in Python. So all the assignments are going to be in Python. If you don't know how to program in Python, or if you don't know how to program, majority of your grades come from the assignment. Like so you do need to think about taking the course. So typically some AA background is recommended but not required. So if you have done an AA course, like an intro to AA course in like before this, like that's nice. But if you have not done any AA course, that's completely okay. Okay, so this could be your first AA course. So the first week's reading, I'll show you the reading in the schedule. Like so, the first week's reading has the review of probability and linear algebra. Also, the lab tomorrow is going to have the review of probability and linear algebra. Okay. We also have an assignment 0, okay, so which covers the problems based on the prerequisites. This is not a graded assignment, so we will not grade your answers, but you have to submit your answers in Gradescope. Okay, so we are going to use Gradescope for all the evaluations. So how many of you have not used Gradescope before? Okay, so Poly should really start using Gradescope for all the courses. So we have a lot. Well, we have been pushing the university to get Gradescope license at the university level. Like it might happen in a year or two, but for now, for people who have not used Gradescope, assignment 0 is also meant for that. Like so, this is really meant for you to, well, the primary reason for assignment 0 is to test your prerequisites. But the secondary reason is like you try using Gradescope, submit your solutions so that you learn how to tag your answers, etc. Okay, because if you don't tag your answers in Gradescope, it will not be evaluated. You'll get a 0. So it is important that you learn how to tag your answers in Gradescope. Of course, there are a lot of YouTube videos. Like if you want to know how to do this, like it's also very intuitive. But practice with assignment 0. Is that clear? And every year I would let people sign up to Gradescope by themselves. But this year I decided to automatically enroll the whole class to Gradescope. So which means I'm going to use the official Poly mailing list that the university provides me. So this is why I asked if you're not from Poly. If you're not from Poly, most of you don't know how to use your Poly email ID. You should learn to use it or do auto forward to your university email IDs. Okay, so I'm going to use your Poly email ID for everyone to sign up in Gradescope. So I'll do it today. So you will have access to Gradescope starting tomorrow. Is that clear? So if you don't know how to use your Poly email ID, if you're from other universities, like talk to your friends, figure out how to do that. It's already out, actually. So it's there on the website. I just uploaded it before coming to the class, and it's due on September 10th at 10 p.m. Okay, so it's not graded, but the TAs will release the answers for this assignment, particularly after September 10th, like if you want to verify your answers yourself. Okay, and I highly encourage everyone to try this assignment after the tutorial tomorrow. So it's okay if you don't know how to answer 1 or 2 questions in this assignment, but if you don't know how to answer all the questions in this assignment, then you don't have the prerequisite. Okay, so this is really a self-evaluation of whether you have the right background. Okay, so in terms of the course structures, we are going to have 1 lectures per week, like which is Wednesdays this time, and there is 3 hours of lab every week. I used to keep it optional in the past, but we are making it mandatory with more recitation sessions and problem-solving sessions this year. Okay, so this lab session is going to be a mix of many things. There are going to be tutorials like what we are going to see tomorrow. Okay, there might be a PyTorch tutorial, a scale-on tutorial, etc. And there are also going to be recitation sections like by the TAs where they might repeat some of the content that I'm teaching in the class, and they might also do more problems or derivations in the lab session, like as an exercise, so that you're better prepared for the midterm and finals. Okay. Everything that we do in the lab is included in your exam, so nothing is optional. And we'll have some reading materials every week. I will usually post the reading materials on the website. So maybe let's go to the website. So yeah, so here you see that the labs are going to happen not here, but in the main building. Okay, so A416. And the schedule, as I said, I will put the entire schedule, like tentative schedule for the whole semester soon. But for now, you see what's there for today and also what's there for tomorrow. Okay, so the TAs will upload their materials for the tutorial sometime tonight so that you have access to it and you can download it before the lab session tomorrow. Is that clear? And we have probability and linear algebra reviews, but there's another review, like another reading material, which we will talk about later. And this is your grade scope. So if you have not used grade scope before, like, so once you get access to it, I encourage you to go try submitting your assignment 0. Assignment 0 is not up in Gradescope yet. It will be. But if you go to the main page, so you do see the assignment 0 here, which covers probability, linear algebra, and some calculus. Okay. And let's go back to the slides. Okay. So I'm going to use slides to get started with today, but mostly I will be writing in the class. We will not use slides. And I will share whatever I'm writing right after the class. So you have access to the scribble. So you don't need to write everything that I'm writing in the class, but I highly encourage you to take notes because that's how you learn. So in terms of the grading, let's just quickly go through this. So there's going to be 4 assignments. They're all individual, which sums up to 30%. Okay, the assignments will have both theory and programming questions. It's going to be mostly programming, but there will be some theoretical questions as well, like asking you to prove things. And we have a midterm, which is going to happen during the lab session. Okay, so which is 22nd of October. This is the week after the reading break or fall break, which is 20%. And there's going to be a Kaggle competition for the entire month of November. So that is 20%. And there's an interim exam, which is 30%. Okay. The final exam dates are decided by the university, not by me. So don't book your tickets to go home without knowing the final exam. So Poly has given a December 22nd slot 1 year. So the exams go all the way up to December 22nd. Okay, so like so don't book your tickets to go home like without knowing it when the day exam is. Like, okay, so you will not get exemption for this final exam, so you have to take it. Okay, so and yeah.
The week 22 is on Wednesday. Is it on the class or the lab?
Which one?
The midterm.
So the midterm, well, 22nd is not Wednesday. Is it Wednesday?
That's what I'm.
Sorry, one second. Okay, sorry. So, okay, so it's 23rd. So, okay. It's 23rd during the lab session. Okay. And so this is an important criteria. Like, so like if you want to pass this course, like I want you to get an average of 50% on midterm and final. Okay. If you get 30% in midterm, then you have to get 70% in final. That will average out to 50%. So to do well, the best strategy is to do really well in your midterm, like so that you don't need to struggle to get more scores in the finals. Okay, so and I think 50% is the bare minimum if you really want to consider yourself to have learned a good foundation in machine learning. Okay, so I will give you previous exam questions for reference, and we will also, unlike last year's or previous years, like we're also going to have recitation sessions where the TAs will do more problems in the lab session. So that is going to prepare you better too. But you should learn every week and work towards your midterm. There won't be any exceptions on this rule. Okay. So in terms of late submission for your assignments, so this is the general policy. Like so, 5% penalty up to 1 day, 10% up to 2 days, 20% up to 3 days. And you cannot submit your assignments after 3 days. Okay. And even if you submit 5 minutes late, it is 5%. So use the extra day if you're late anyways. Okay. So there won't be any. This is automatically calculated in grade scope. Like, so even if you're 1 minute late, you get a 5% penalty. Okay. So just aim to submit few hours in advance. So every year I receive emails where people say their laptop crashed at 11:59, right? So if the deadline is, well, I usually keep all the deadlines at 10 p.m., not midnight, so that you can finish it and then go sleep. But don't wait until 10 p.m. Like try to do it at least at 8 p.m. so that like you're sure that there's enough buffer. And for all the discussions, we are going to use Piazza. Well, I don't want to ask how many of you have used Piazza, maybe not a lot of you. So Piazza is a really nice discussion forum. Like, let me just move to Piazza. Yeah. So this is how your Piazza would look like. Like, so you could tag what lecture you want to talk about or what assignment you want to talk about and ask questions. And moving forward, all the announcements about the class will come through Piazza. Okay. Again, I will automatically enroll all of you with your Poly email ID. So you will get an email to your Poly email ID saying you have been enrolled, and you can start using Piazza. So you can also use Piazza to find teammates for your Kaggle competition. So there is a teammate finding option like which you could use. Okay, and yeah, I talked about grade scope already. Well, I think this is implicit, but sometimes I need to say it explicitly. So there is zero tolerance for plagiarism and cheating. Each assignment and competition comes with rules, and you must follow them. Because if the assignment says no discussions allowed, you should not discuss the assignment with your friends. Like, and if the assignment says no Google search allowed, like you should not search. Okay, so just follow the instructions, and I just expect that you honor this term. So my office hours are going to be usually after the class in person. We can walk to my office, like which is in the 3rd floor, and we can have our discussion there. Usually there's going to be a class right after this here. We'll walk to my office and like we have an hour to discuss if you have any questions. But the TAs are also going to have their office hours during the lab slots, and they will usually announce in advance. Like every assignment, there's one TA responsible for the assignment. So he or she is going to hold the office hours for the next 2-3 weeks, and they will answer on all your questions for those ones. Okay. So every year I do set up anonymous Google form, like which you can, by the way, access from your Moodle. So you go to Moodle, like so you see the link to the anonymous Google form. Okay. So I encourage you to go give feedback about lectures after every lecture, actually. Like so, positive or negative feedback. The more feedback you give, the better I can adapt the course dynamically. Okay. So we don't need to wait until the end of the semester to give the feedback. Like so you can actually give your feedback every week. if I was too fast one day, or if you want me to repeat a topic, or sometimes people say the microphone was not working properly, right? Like, so whatever feedback you want to give, like, so like, just take a couple of minutes, go give your feedback. And that is going to be helpful, not just for me, but for you too. Like, so everyone will get benefited by your constructive feedback. And in terms of emails, right? Like, so this is a large class. There are 130 plus students and still some students wanting to register. So please do not email instructor or TAs for any of your doubts. You have to use Piazza and Office Hours. Like, if you have any doubts, post it in Piazza. By the way, you can also answer questions in Piazza. You don't need to just post questions. Like, if your friend is asking a question and you know the answer, please answer, because TAs cannot answer all the questions. Like, so they're going to upvote your answer or say this is a good answer. Okay. So I want all of you to participate in the discussion. Like, so if you know an answer for the question, like, just answer the question and help your peers, also help your TAs, right? So use Office Hours and Piazza for any of your doubts. And any questions regarding the assignment should only be asked through Piazza. You don't send private emails. If you really want to contact me, right? Like, so you want to ask extension because you have some medical emergency, or you want to tell me something that you don't want to tell the TA, right? Do not email my email ID directly. I receive hundreds of emails and I almost always never open any of those emails. Okay, so my inbox has 40,000 unread emails. Like, so like, if you really want me to take action immediately, like, use this email. Okay, so this is something that I newly created so that we get only course related queries. So use this email. TAs will not have access to this email, so you can send me things that you want to say without telling the TAs, if anything, right? But my assistant will have access to this email. So me and my assistant will have access to this email, and my assistant is going to help me making sure that we answer all these emails on time. Okay. So the slides are going to be up after the class, so you don't need to note down the email ID. Like, so you can copy it from the slide later. So, well, I think at this point, you're all used to 3-hour lectures, but people who are coming from outside Poly, like UDM or McGill, like, so you're not used to 3-hour lectures, right? Like, so, like, get some coffee, take notes with pen and paper, okay? And I highly encourage you to close your laptops and phones and take notes in your paper or iPad, like, or like whatever, right? Well, if you really take notes in your laptop, I don't mind. But if you're browsing in your laptop, you're not helping yourself. Okay, so, and especially if you use your laptop, you get tempted to just switch tab when something is not clear, right? Like, but that's exactly when you should be listening more carefully. So close your laptop, use pen and paper, like, to take notes. And in the end, like, I'm anyway giving you whatever I'm writing as a PDF. Like, so you don't need to copy everything that I'm saying in the class. Okay, so use note taking as a learning experience. Like, have a pen and paper, try to take whatever notes that you can. Don't worry, you cannot take all the notes. So by the end of this course, like, so I'm hoping that you will understand machine learning from first principles, and you will have the knowledge about different machine learning algorithms, how to solve real life problems using machine learning, and you'll have an understanding of when to use which algorithm, and you can go read the recent advances in machine learning by yourself. Okay, so I want to highlight the importance of a first course in any topic. Okay, machine learning is such a vast field. So we have achieved so much in the last 5 years, like, that whatever happened in the last 50 years looks minimal. Okay, so the field is so vast. There are probably million people working in machine learning right now. Like, so almost every industry is applying machine learning. Almost every other fields of science is applying machine learning, right? Like, so the field grows too fast. Like, so I don't think we can do justice the field with a 13-week introductory course, right? So my motivation for this introductory course is really to lay the foundations of the field. So give you the bare minimum foundation, like, that you need to actually go and self-learn the state of the art. So we cannot cover, like, all the way from 50s to 2025 in one semester. Okay, so we're going to look at the basics. So sometimes it's going to be boring for you because you see a lot of cool things in Twitter, like and news articles like about what machine learning can do. But to reach there, you need very strong foundations. Okay, so that is what we're going to focus in this course. So once you finish this course, you can go take more advanced courses. There are several advanced machine learning courses in Montreal. Like, so you just go to Mila's website, you will see a list of courses that you could take after this course, okay? But it is important that you get your foundations right, because that is what we're going to do in this course. Okay, a couple of advertisements before we begin. I know some of you are undergrads who might be thinking about doing masters, or some of you are masters who might be thinking about doing PhD, right? So if you want to join my lab for masters or PhD, I typically look for your grades in this course. I think some of the masters here have already contacted me. I suggested them to take this course, get good grades, and then come talk to me. Okay, so if you really want to do a master's or PhD in machine learning with me, or even if you want to go to some other university to do a PhD in machine learning or master's in machine learning, I think you should get an A or A+ in this course. That means you have mastered the content of this course. Okay, and also if you want to TA for this course in the future, you should get an A+. So for undergrad students here, who are interested in doing research, right? So you have a couple of options, INF 8900 and 8901. So how many of you know about this? So how many of you are undergrads? Okay, so if you're in your third year or fourth year, I think you're eligible to do these two courses, INF 8900 and 8901. So these are basically 3-credit courses. One is to do some guided reading and literature in the topic, and the other is to do a guided research project in the topic. Okay, this is a great first step if you want to go for a research master's, or if you even want to learn about research and figure out if you want to go for a research master's, right? So if you want to do these two courses in machine learning, with me, do well in this course. And this is basically like a self-study course. So you will meet me or my postdoc or PhD regularly every week, and you are going to do the reading by yourself, and you get credit for this. So it counts towards your degree. Okay. Yeah, I think those are mostly the boring logistics. Any questions before we begin? No questions?